Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Sal Chatterbox. How you're doing? And I'm joined by the one and only rapper, producer, actor, editor, director, Shak Warner, aka Redzz. What's going on, bro?
What's good, bro? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're well. Thanks for coming on. Firstly, I'd like to introduce you. Redzz has been in the scene for a long, long time. He's one of the UK pioneers. Worked with some legends in the game. Just tell us a little about yourself, Redzz, and what you have planned.
Yeah, so as you will know, I'm a rapper from East London. Been doing it over 10 years. Started off on pirate radio and as a battle rapper. Then went on to, release music that eventually went on to MTV, Flavour, Kiss, BBC Radio, and you name it. We've been on there. Went over to America, worked with artists such as Young Buck, D12, etc. The Outlaws, which were Tupac's group. So yeah, we've been about, man.
And you didn't only work with Young Buck now. You worked with Young Buck when Young Buck was Young Buck. Young Buck had the beef with 50 Cent. How was it like working with him? What was he like as a person and everything? And you also brought in Kyla as well. Kyla, who had a track out with Drake. Number one record with Drake. You put her on a track. How did that come about?
Well, the collabo came about through Young Noble from the Outlaws. So he introduced us to Young Buck. We wanted to get him on the track. We spoke to Young Noble and Buck on the phone about our ideas. Sent him an instrumental. We liked it. So then we kind of worked through the internet at the start, done the track, and then with Kyla, who's another one that we reached out to, showed her the track, and she jumped on it as well. So that's how it came about, really.
She's actually gone on leaps and bounds with that, and probably promoted her quite a lot on that track.
Yeah, she's done well.
Young Buck, and that's a big move from back then as well. So yeah, and you also worked with was it Sway Decipher, Sway, another pioneer of UK music. You worked with him. That went all over TV, didn't it? I see that on Kiss. I see that on Soccer AM as well, didn't we? We saw that.
Yeah, that was on Soccer AM. So that song also featured AO Beats, who recently had number 2 in the charts, I believe. He produced. So yeah, that one done well as well. Went all over TV. Was on Soccer AM. So
before the Arsenal Liverpool game, wasn't it? It was a big.
It's on YouTube. Yeah, it's on YouTube, so you can find it.
It's big moves. So you're obviously you've been in the game now for like how long? Like 16 years, something like that.
I've lost count now, man.
16 years. Do you have any? What's planned for you in the next few weeks in regards to music, in the next few months in regards to music?
So I had plans before lockdown happened, before the pandemic came about, to release new music. We went over to Cuba. We filmed a music video over there. And we had recently had a song called You Should Really Know, which got on BBC Radio. And we were planning on filming a music video for that one and releasing 2 music videos simultaneously. But unfortunately, because of lockdown, we've not really been able to film the final scenes to both videos. So I'm hoping once we start to come out of lockdown, that we can film those videos and get them released, really.
Sure. Yeah, and you also done some work for alcoholic charity, obviously ex-Man United legend, George Best, RIP. His son is a big ambassador for NACOA. He done a lot of work for NACOA, got government recognition as well, didn't it? And that went everywhere, making real music, music with a purpose and a message. And that was highly successful. Tell us about that track and why you did that track.
So that track's called Through the Eyes. So I rapped a song through the eyes of someone who is an alcoholic. It was actually based on a true story of someone that lived in a neighborhood called Dell. He's someone that I helped through his alcoholism and helped him to get back on his feet. So that's where I got the inspiration from the start. So yeah, we reached out to NACOA, which is a charity that helps children with alcoholic parents. They liked the song and the concept, and we've done a few shows around the country and raised money for that. So yeah, so it is a fantastic charity. So anyone watching, go and have a look at them and donate to them as well.
Fantastic. And you've also worked with the likes of D12. You've toured with D12. You've been to Detroit working with D12, in particular Bizarre from D12, who's just had a track out with Gigs as well. So, you know, how was Bizarre? How did that come about, working with Bizarre? How was he as a person? Flying to Detroit and shooting a video in the middle of Detroit, in the middle of the 8 Mile. How was that? How did you get received?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, you hear about places like Detroit and the 8 Mile, and you never think it will be somewhere that you'd end up. But luckily enough, through this song, working with D12, we managed to go to Detroit and Michigan and 8 Mile, and it was crazy to be there. You know, going to the Shady Studio and working on a song with Bizarre. It was a fantastic time. And, you know, when we released it, not many people were working with artists from the US. I feel like I was one of the pioneers in doing that in UK hip hop to cross over to America. So, you know, working with D12 and Young Buck and TQ and the Outlaws, and now you're starting to see it. As you said just now, Gigs just released a song with Bizarre as well recently. So yeah, it was a good experience. I mean, D12 came over and we went over to Tim Westwood on Capitol, and we were there and we toured with D12 and their shows backstage. It was an amazing experience, especially being someone who grew up on Eminem and D12 as well.
And you've also obviously done a World Cup song in the past and performed it in front of 10,000 people. You know, how did that feel, performing in front of 10,000 people? Leyton Orient, it was. You performed in front of 10,000 fans at Leyton Orient.
Yeah.
Why Leyton Orient, and what's the story behind that? And how did the video come about? Because I heard you had like people such as Yaya Toure in the video, ex Leyton Orient player Sean Batt. You had in the video, and at that time, Leyton Orient were doing pretty well as well. They were on the brink of the championship. Yeah, they were going to Wembley. Tell us about the World Cup song you did and your history with football. Who do you support, and you know what?
Yeah. So, as you know, originally from Leytonstone and Leyton, grew up there. Leyton Orient Stadium was right behind our house. Used to be able to watch matches from my bedroom window. So when the World Cup came, I had the idea of just doing a World Cup song, you know. So when we done the song, we wanted to do the video. So what we did was we went around the country to lots of different football stadiums, and we went up to Liverpool. We ended up in Everton's stadium. We went inside, filmed there. We got in contact with Yaya Toure. He done a little cameo. So we contacted Leyton Orient as well about the song, because it was going to be showcased on Soccer AM. They were happy to get involved as well. We have a lot of history with the club, being neighbours and doing things for the community. So they invited us to film some shots within Brisbane Road and the stadium with Sean Batt as well, who also appeared in the music video. So yeah, it was just something good to get involved in. You know, I'm a massive football fan. I've always wanted to, you know, travel to different stadiums. So it was just an opportunity really to have some fun with it. I don't think England done too well in that World Cup. I can't remember, but yeah.
So as you know, as everyone is probably aware, you're a big Liverpool fan. I wanted to know your opinions on the recent interview I had with Jason McAtee in regards to Man United and Liverpool, the rivalry between Man United and Liverpool, and you know, certain sectors of fans, there's like hatred in between the two clubs, this ridiculous hatred. I mean, we all have fans of different friends who are fans of different clubs, different rival clubs, Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans, you know, but it never goes beyond banter. You know, it's a rivalry. It hurts on the day if you lose, but you know, after that, done and dusted. Even where you work, you know, done and dusted. We move on. It's just entertainment at the end of the day, and it's football. I just wanted to know your opinions on that and the hatred that Jason McAteer was receiving at the time, in particular, you know, some vile abuse he received from Man United fans, which I don't condemn, being a Man United fan, but I don't condemn serious, you know, slander of his name and some of the vile abuse against him and his family.
Yeah, so yeah, we do condemn those sort of tweets. The thing is, you know, in our day-to-day lives, we all support different teams. At work, we have colleagues that support different teams, and we have a bit of banter. You know, we're gonna smash you on a weekend and blah blah blah. But then after the result, you have a bit more banter and you just get on with life. You don't, you know, get personal about it. We support different teams, you and I, and we've had arguments in the past as well. Back when Liverpool were crap and Man United were flying, you know, but it's just one of those things, and football goes in circles, and you can have banter, you can have a discussion about it, a debate, you can disagree, but the internet allows these trolls to, you know, hide behind cartoon pictures and say whatever they want without consequence. So that's what's happening, really. Things that people wouldn't necessarily say in real life, they feel like they have the freedom to say whatever they want on the internet and get away with it. And I think you'll find that most people that say these sort of things won't be showing their real face in their profile. So really, that's all trolls are. All they want is a response, whether it's a good response or a bad response. They don't really care. They just want people
to
like
find
Jason
some relevance within their life, you know, a little bit of
it's
relevance.
a bit of excitement, a bit of fun at the end of the day for them, you know, because they've probably got nothing else going on. You know, you'll find most trolls are people that don't have much going on with their life, you know, and they're probably frustrated or fed up with things, and they go on the internet to take it out on people like you and Jason McAteer and whoever else who's doing something, you know.
Even fellow Man United fan cams and podcasts who are big Man United fans, they attack them too. It's not just Liverpool players and stuff. They've always got something to moan about in regards to. This is what I was saying about these old fans who've been going to Man United or been going to Liverpool for decades and feel like they have a more warranted opinion than anyone else, you know, and their opinion means more than anyone else because they're sponsored by media companies within the club and they're pushed by media companies within the club. You can't say nothing wrong about the club unless you're that person.
And you'll find that in Liverpool as well. We have the same, you know, we've got in Redmen TV, they're the ones that never say anything negative about the club. They wear, you know, rose-tinted glasses and get invited to the press conferences and stuff like that. So they've got their own prerogative not to be too negative when times are going hard. But, you know, end of the day, we all have opinions. So just because your opinion is one, you know, you want Ollie out, but that's your opinion. End of the day, that's what social media is here for. You know, when you log onto Facebook, it says what's on your mind or something, you know, when you write a status. And that's what social media is. You go on there to express your opinion on certain subjects. And what people need to do, what I took from a documentary I was watching on YouTube about trolls, is that, you know, people, when they go online, they need to treat it like a buffet. Yeah, you have different foods, you take what you like, and if there's anything you don't like the look of, you leave it. You know, you don't need to get involved in every single thing you see on your timeline that you disagree with. And most people do that. I see lots of things on my timeline that I disagree with, but I don't get involved in every single thing I see, you know. And the thing with trolls, they sit there and, you know, they send out all these messages of, you know, and they just want to get a reaction because they're not really there for the
and especially being in the music industry as well. I mean,
I've learned to ignore it. It doesn't really bother me what people are saying today. It comes with the package, man. If you're doing something worth talking about, people are going to talk about it, you know. Being in the game of social media and doing podcasts, I would be more worried if people weren't talking about it and weren't interacting. So it comes with the package, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, the thing is that, and they will say anything under the sun just to get a reaction as well. Just even if it's the most vile thing possible, they'll get a reaction. And when they get blocked, they celebrate it, which is crazy. Really.
You'll also find a lot of them might even be like kids, hiding behind cartoon pictures, so that's why you also got to be careful not to interact with too many of them, because you never know who you're talking to half the time. So I think I saw one in my mention, something about they were having an argument with a catfish profile or something like that. And I didn't reply to it. I'm like, first of all, what's it got to do with me? And second of all, like, why are you on Twitter arguing with catfish profiles? Like, is there nothing else going in your life to be getting involved in such nonsense? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, spot on. In regards more lighter note, let's talk about football. Obviously, Liverpool have had quite a hard start this season. The injuries have been crazy. Your defense, at one point you had no defenders, playing. And I just wanted to know your opinions on Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp. I heard a few fans, crazy as it may seem, wanted Klopp out, which is absolutely ridiculous considering what he's done for the club. What are your opinions on Liverpool and the foreseeable future?
Personally, I've not seen anyone say they want Klopp out. I know that was trending. I think most of that's come from rival fans taking a mick. You'd be mental to want to get rid of Jurgen Klopp. I mean, who are you going to replace him with? Steven Gerrard, he's only really doing it in Scotland. He's not proven. I think at the start of the season, I think we were top of the league. We were doing well before the Van Dijk injury. Even after Van Dijk got injured, I think we had enough to keep it going, and we were top of the league for a little while. I think we've just been very unlucky with injuries. I know it sounds like an excuse, and we all have injuries in our team and stuff, but it's been a bit unprecedented, the amount of key injuries we've had. We've lost all of our main centre-backs, which means our best central midfielders have had to play in defence, and then we've also lost them. Fabinho and Henderson also out as well. So really, that just takes away your whole spine of your team, and it's not surprising, and it would affect any team. I mean, Man City finished 20 points behind us last season, and they only lost Laporte, really. But hey, that's the way it goes, man. And
your opinions on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? As a Liverpool fan, I know it's hard for me to ask you, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what's your opinions on him and his foreseeable future? How do you think, on a neutral level? I know we're rivals, and Man United are Liverpool's bitter rivals, but what are your opinions neutrally on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on a football perspective? How well he's doing?
Even though I'm a Liverpool fan, growing up, we used to go to Manchester United games from as I can't remember how young. When we used to go out to Manchester. I remember we even went up there to watch a reserve game and watch players like Jesper Blomqvist.
Jesper Blomqvist,
people will probably be surprised. I know
Aston Villa.
But that's because we went to a lot of Man United games and I tagged along, So I do know quite a bit about the history of United and what it means to be a United supporter, even though I'm a Liverpool fan because of your support of them. And I understand where you come from when you talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not being the right man. He's having a good season, been a little bit lucky in some games, final whistle going and then they're bringing it back on to take a penalty. You won a few games 1-0 here and there, scraped them, which is part of the game as well. You can't thrash every team 4-0, but you also have to look at the bigger picture. It reminds me of Liverpool over the years before Klopp. We've come second, we've kind of challenged here and there, and then we drop back to 6 or 7 the next season and it's forgotten. It kind of reminds me of that sort of Liverpool from a few years ago. And when you think about Liverpool's current injury crisis, will we bounce back next season with a full team? Chelsea on the up, they've got the money to spend. So I can see why you would be concerned, because is it just a positive blip you're having? You can have a negative blip, how Liverpool are this season. And you can also have a positive blip, West Ham, for instance. Are they in the top 4 at the moment or 5th?
Yeah, I think they're in the top 4,
Are we going to sit here and say they're going to push forward next season and finish 3rd or 2nd? I doubt it. So that's where I see Man United at the moment. I know a lot of United fans probably don't want to hear that coming from a Liverpool supporter, but I think United do have a lot of positive things about them. I do see a little bit of a progression there in terms of the personnel. You've got great players, but you're missing something. It's like when we had Gerrard, but when we also had very average players around him. You've got Bruno Fernandes, fantastic player, but you've got players around him like Fred, McTominay, decent players, but are they Yaya Toure? Are they Fernandinho sort of level of players? Are they really going to push you on forward? Has Solskjaer got the charisma to go and win a title and win a Champions League? Personally, I can't really see it. I think United need a charismatic sort of manager, someone like Tuchel, someone like Klopp, someone like even Simeone, or someone who's had success in being a manager in Europe, in the league, and Solskjaer doesn't really have the CV, does he? I know he's an ex-Man United legend, but similar to Steven Gerrard, I would not want him to take the job next, because he hasn't really done it. He's been in Scotland. He's won the title with Scotland. Similar, Solskjaer has done it in Norway, was it?
Yeah.
So it's like Man United should have the best. I hate to say it as a Liverpool fan, but they probably are the biggest team in the world, along with Real Madrid and stuff, in terms of fan base. But I think United could do better with that department. I think Solskjaer's done a decent job. If he gets you top four, I think, what would Abramovich do?
Exactly. He would have been gone.
He sacked Roberto Di Matteo after winning the Champions League. He gave him another 3 months or something like that, and he got rid of him because it wasn't sustainable. So, do I think
Chelsea have continued to win trophies as well? Continue to win trophies.
Continue to
challenge.
Yeah, I do agree that Solskjaer's tactics are a bit negative. Growing up watching United, you never thought United were out of a game. And I also agree. I think you made a point before on your channel about United look and play better attacking, and I agree.
Yes.
I think you've got got Mason Greenwood, you've got Rashford, you've got Martial on the front foot. You could beat anyone playing like that. But defensively, I think there's problems, and I think you don't play best defensively. And
he keeps playing defensive.
Yeah, I think you need to bring that culture of attack back. United fans, was it under Moyes, the fans used to chant attack, and I don't think United still don't do that enough. And I think United need to find a manager that has that sort of style, and
because they say Alex Ferguson, he had a better team, blah, blah, blah. But there was some points in the season where he had Carrick and Fletcher as centre-backs, makeshift centre-backs. And he has people like Anderson and O'Shea and players like that, just pros.
Ferguson was a very special manager who managed to get the very best out of average players who, without Ferguson, maybe wouldn't have had such successful careers. He's similar to Klopp. He gets the very best out of players like Robertson from Hull, and Jordan Henderson has been phenomenal since Jurgen Klopp's been appointed, and he gets the very best out of players. And Ferguson was similar; he got the very best. I think he would be challenging with this current United team a bit closer to City. If do
you see them? Do you see United challenging anytime soon, or do you think?
I think they've got potential to. Yes, I think if they make a few more good signings, and the quality of Fernandes, I think they could do with another centre back to partner Maguire. I think they've got a good chance of challenging City, but they've got to get the decisions right in terms of, is Ole the right manager to take things forward, or has he done enough and say farewell and move on to pastures new? Maybe there's someone better out there to take that next step. Is Ole the right guy to do that? I think we'll find out. But and
what about?
I think it's on the knife edge.
Yeah. What about Liverpool? What do you think is missing there at the moment? Obviously, when you get Van Dijk back, it's going to be a lot better. Obviously, he's a massive leader, big miss. He would be for any club in the world. What do you think needs to change at Liverpool? Who would you bring in? Do you think the board have supported Klopp as well as they should have, especially after winning the Champions League and the Premier League, you know, and the World Cup? He didn't really, the board didn't really, you know, push it to that next level, right? We're serious.
No.
When Alex Ferguson won the Champions League, he went out and bought Berbatov for 40 million odds. And at that time was a lot of money. And we didn't need him, but we still got him just to freshen things up.
That's
and
right,
to keep it going and build the squad.
It's also to, you know, keep your key players motivated as well. I think Ferguson was one of the best at creating new teams, knowing when a player is time to freshen things up. No, I can't remember exactly, but there was a time when you did have a good team. Was it Kanchelskis, and he sold a few players, and people were like, "Why is he selling these players?"
Yeah,
I think that was one of his best traits as a manager, was knowing when players' times were up and when to freshen things up. And I think that's where Klopp is now. I think players like Firmino, absolutely phenomenal in his prime. Is he slowing down? Do we need to freshen things up? You know, I think it's a crossroads for certain players and for Klopp as well. He needs to show a bit of metal and, you know, and change things up a little bit. I do think we've got a team good enough for competing when they're all together and fit, but I also do think we need to freshen things up. But saying that, we've always had a buy to sell policy at Liverpool. We can only spend what the club brings in. I think we've had a net spend of like 10 mil when you work out like 10 mil per season, per window, per season since these owners came in. I think they're fantastic business people. Liverpool are worth over 1.3 billion now since they've taken over Liverpool. So they are good business people. But when it comes to the football, you know, we all want the sheikhs to come in and buy our club and buy us Mbappe and Haaland, but I think they could have done a bit more to support Klopp. When you look at our bench, it is piss poor in comparison to other clubs, especially City. When you look at their bench, it's worth in the last match, it was worth £500 million. I mean, we don't need to go out and spend that sort of money, but I've always said it. I said it at the end of the last season when we won the Premier League, that, you know, now's the time to invest. You invest when you're at the top, because these players have been doing it for 2 seasons, 100 points nearly in both seasons, and I think they're tired. They need a bit of competition behind them and a bit more quality on the bench. And I think if we do that, I think we could go again next season and give City another run for their money. But I think it's amazing what Klopp has achieved there, because we don't have the best squad in the league. City do, and City should really be running away with it every season. So I think Klopp came in and he's proven. You know, he went toe-to-toe with Pep Guardiola with a quarter of his budget and done it.
Yeah, exactly. This is what people forget about Klopp. And through Klopp's history, people obviously comparing Klopp to Solskjaer, which is absolutely amazing. I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a player. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is one of my favourite players. I mean, coming off the bench and everything. But, you know, as a manager, you want to compare yourself to Klopp. People say Klopp got Mainz relegated and stuff like that. And, you know,
he got promoted as well, though, didn't he?
Yeah, in the first time. Was it the first time in their history or something? He also, like that. Yeah, and he also changed the Apple card with Bayern dominance. Yeah, and won the league with Dortmund.
Yeah, players like Lewandowski is still one of the best centre forwards. You know.
Yeah, and he gave him his chance. He's produced a lot of players, and it's absolutely ridiculous to have a comparison. He's one of the best managers in the world, and you know, he obviously some managers, obviously he needs a refresh button. I think he needs some new players to come in and just a bit of a refresh. Freshen it up a little bit. I think the front line is getting a bit stale now. You know, you need to change it up a little bit, have a few, a bit more investment in there. Maybe if you signed a Haaland or something. I mean, as hurtful as that may sound, it will make you a lot stronger up front, you know, with the options that you will have. I feel like, you know, he just needs a bit more investment. It's the same with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We've got the same problem with the Glazers. The Glazers are going out, giving money to their daughter, 20 million to their daughter so she can go and buy a yacht and things like that, when we need a centre-back, and all these broken promises from Woodward, etc. You know, we have the same problem, and this is the thing, that some of the fans are concentrating on the wrong things. And that's exactly the point I was making to Jason McAteer, is that, the fans are concentrating on, stupid pettiness when they should be out there, creating a scene against the Glazers. And I'd done something called the 58th minute walkout, and I was openly ridiculed for doing that, even though I was trying to do something, just to try and, make a sound, make a noise. But, we had top Reds saying, oh, you can't do that, you got to back the players, blah, blah, blah. What do you think needs to change in regards to these ownerships and stuff, these owners who own the club? What needs to be done, do you think? Is it possible to get them out the club?
I don't think there's anything we can do, really. It's similar when we had Hicks and Gillette. It was like they'd almost run the club into the ground, but the fans did end up getting together and marching, and we did get Hicks and Gillette out in the end. But the thing is with American owners is that I don't think they have their heart in the game. Their heart is with money. That a lot of the American owners, they see football as a business, as a means of making profit. And I get that it is a business, but as fans, we want to see our club do well. So I don't know, man. I think it's very limited to what we as a fan base can do in terms of the owners. I think FSG, as I said, for Liverpool, I think they're all right owners, but I think we could do better. I think Man United are in a good place, man. I mean, they're probably similar to Liverpool at the moment, just need a bit more investment. But I think the problem really is City, and the fact that they can just go out and spend whatever they want, and they're always going to be playing catch up to City, especially when they're breaking FIFA fair play rules and getting away with it.
Exactly.
I think our owners were banking on the fact that FIFA fair play would be enforced, and I think now that it hasn't been, it's kind of left them in a difficult situation where they really need to start putting money out of their own pocket for this club to move forward. I think City are the main issue.
It's a bit hard, yeah, exactly. When they're spending 500 million on their defence till they get it right, make mistake after mistake till they get it right. Change the goalkeeper till they get it right. It's very easy to do that. It's a bit like the old Championship manager editor. You can just change the ratings of the players until you get it right, and just win and win and win. It is unfair. I mean, obviously, we're not saying that Guardiola is a bad, is an overrated manager, but he has had the rub of the green when it comes to finances. He can go out and buy 3 or 4 midfielders until he gets the right one. I mean, you look at their bench, you look at who they got on loan. It's absolutely ridiculous. Some of them are walking to our team. You got people on the bench. You got Bernardo Silva and people like Gundogan fighting for one position, and it's crazy.
It's very difficult for any club to compete with that. Very difficult. And Pep Guardiola is a good manager, but I feel like he's never really been tested. At least with Mourinho, we done it at Porto, we done it at Inter Milan, was it?
Yeah.
Klopp done it at Dortmund, and I feel like for me, Pep Guardiola, for him to really be compared to managers like that, he needs to take on a project job. Go and take over Arsenal. Build them back up again, win a title with them. Then do you know what I mean? That's something that someone like Klopp would do. So it's interesting. What do you think about the Super League that people have been talking about? Do you think that's going to be something that could actually come into play in the future?
I think it will. I think eventually the money, we're getting too much money is involved in the game, and I think the money, especially with FSG and the Glazers, their eyes will light up in regards to that. The money you can make from obviously having a Super League, I do think it will kill football. I think the smaller teams will get, start going out of business. I don't think it's right. I think that these Americans got to, stop getting involved in our game and trying to change things, because what makes football great is the grassroots level upwards, and with a Super League, what happens in the Super League? Who gets relegated? Who gets promoted? What goes on there? Do they just carry on next season as normal, or do people have a chance to get promoted and relegated? Does another team become a super club? It's strange. It's strange, but I don't want anything changing in regards to football. I think we changed it enough with the VAR and stuff, and You know, I don't think we should be going down the realms of that. Maybe change up the Champions League if they like, you know, make it a league format, you know, or something. But no, not for me, not the Super League.
Yeah, I feel like they're always trying to fix something that isn't broken, and usually it's because of money, and they want to make more money from it. I think I watched an interview the other day with Viola, and he was talking about them thinking about getting rid of relegations and promotions, which would be crazy to think, similar to American style sport where there's no relegations. So yeah, it's interesting to see where football goes. I'm not really liking VAR too much. The problem with VAR, there's too many inconsistencies. You still have the same referees looking at VAR, making the same old mistakes. So I like the idea of using technology, but I think our referees in this country are poor. I think they're so poor. We see it week in, week out, mistake after mistake, and in every game. I don't think there's any favouritism towards certain clubs, but I just think the referees are poor. Like Man United, I think were unlucky not to get a penalty in the last game. Was it?
It was a blatant handball.
You know, in any other game that might have been a penalty, but it really depends on the time. You just don't know if you're coming or going anymore.
Which referee you get?
Yeah,
you know, that's what it depends on.
You get as well. You know, so it's crazy, man. But
one last question I'm going to ask. I want you to tell me your greatest ever Premier League team from top to bottom, from goalkeeper to strikers. 4-4-2. From goalkeeper to strikers. We keep it old school, 4-4-2. So starting off in goal, who would you pick in goal for your greatest ever Premier League side?
This is quite difficult to ask as a Liverpool fan because there's many of those Premier League years, Man United were the best club. So it's difficult to pick a team without any United players in it, being a Liverpool fan. So in goal, in goal, I'll probably go Schmeichel in goal. You know, I love Alisson Becker. He's only been there a couple of seasons, so I can't really pick him. You know, Petr Cech was a fantastic goalkeeper as well. But I think Schmeichel was a pioneer of his position in goal. Left back, I'll probably go Ashley Cole. Likewise with the Liverpool team, I love Andy Robertson, but you know he hasn't done it as long as Ashley Cole done it, who also won everything. He was a fantastic left back. Centre backs, I'll probably go with. I'll probably go. I'll probably go Rio Ferdinand and Van Dijk. I think I love Sami Hyypiä. I think he was a fantastic centre back as well. But Rio was also brilliant with his feet. He could bring the ball out. Won a lot as well of United. Jaap Stam was another one who was fantastic. Terry was good, but not really a fan of his. So I'll probably go Van Dijk and Ferdinand centre back. Right back, that's a difficult one. Right back. You know what? I'll stick Alexander-Arnold in there. Simple fact is that he's just a phenom for his age. The amount of assists he gets, I think people forget how young he is and what he's achieved at such a young age. He's so good at going forward, so you'll get a lot of assists there. I think when you talk about generational talent, I think Trent Alexander-Arnold is a generational talent. He's really made that right back position his own. Central midfield, so many good players out there. Steven Gerrard has to be in there for me. Liverpool icon, Liverpool legend. Probably didn't play in the best of Liverpool squads in his time. I think he was just unbelievable. He could do everything, box to box, could defend, could shoot, could pass the ball. There's nothing he couldn't do. He could play in any position. And alongside him, I'll probably go probably go De Bruyne. Gerrard and De Bruyne in the middle. I think De Bruyne is just a game changer. Obviously, I could have gone Scholes. He was a brilliant player as well. I don't know if Scholes would suit playing with Gerrard. But yeah, I've gone De Bruyne. I think Man City have, a fantastic team, squad of players, and I think De Bruyne has been behind a lot of their recent success. Left wing, I'd probably go. I didn't prepare this, so I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Left wing.
Just instinct, innit? Who would you think? Who would you have on that left wing?
I'm just trying to think from if I wanted to win matches or if I'm going to follow my heart and just if I follow my heart.
Follow your heart. I follow my heart,
I probably want to stick Mane in there. But me talking about the greatest of all time, I'll probably go with Ryan Giggs. I've got a lot of United players in here, but as I said, I've watched football a long time, and United did have some fantastic teams. Ryan Giggs done it. He done it a long time for United. Played so many games, won the lot. He's quick, skillful, and he done it for such an extended period of time. So yeah. I would probably stick Ryan Giggs out on the left. So what we got now, Giggsy, De Bruyne.
We've got Giggs, De Bruyne, Gerrard. Right midfield.
Right midfield, I have to stick Salah in there. Just an absolute phenomenal player. What a player Chelsea let go. Honestly, they've let
a few go, haven't they?
They would have De Bruyne and Salah in there. You see, that's the thing, because they went out and bought so many of these youngsters and never played and never gave them a chance. But if they kept them, they probably would have won a couple of times.
Law of averages, there's going to be a few coming through who are going to go on to do big things, because they were highly rated when they were younger.
Yeah.
Salah is a right midfield. Up front, here we go. Up front, the two strikers.
The first name that popped in my head when he said up front was Alan Shearer. I think he was just absolutely, what's the word? He was just fierce in front of goal, man. He's not going to miss. Headers,
heartless.
Outside the box. Yeah, just ferocious. He's a ferocious striker. Has he still got the highest goals in the Premier League all time still, Shearer? For me, he was up there with the Brazilian Ronaldo. He was that sort of level of quality. I think if Man United bought him, you probably would have won more Champions Leagues. But it was his decision not to go there. I don't know what happened with that, but he went Newcastle and won the title with Blackburn, didn't he? Yeah, phenomenal striker. He did play in the Premier League era, didn't he, Shearer?
What's that? He did what?
He did play in the Premier League era, didn't he, Shearer?
Yeah. He Alan Shearer played in the Premier League. He won the title with Blackburn in 1995. It was. That's the only trophy he won, though. Unfortunately, should have won Euro '96. Should have won a trophy with England. But he was a great player, and unfortunately, Man United didn't sign him. But funny enough, they bought Solskjaer instead, and the rest is history, is it?
Yeah. He scored that goal to win you a Champions League, didn't he?
Yeah. But I would have thought Shearer would have made us very, very, very strong if we had Shearer at that time.
Yeah.
Probably stronger than we were, which at that time. But what he done for Newcastle, he was unstoppable. I hated playing against Shearer at that time. Alongside him, who would you pick alongside him? There's a controversial one. Obviously, Arsenal fans are going to be screaming out Henry. Man United fans are going to be screaming out Rooney. Liverpool fans, they've got their legends as well, Fowler and etc. Who else would you pick up front?
I mean, there's an argument for all of those players. Really, I mean, Henry was a fantastic player, probably the best Arsenal player that they've ever had. He didn't really do it at Barcelona, did he? But yeah, in terms of Premier League, he was great. Rooney as well, fantastic striker, like a street footballer. I used to love watching him play football. For me, I'm going to go a bit more sentimental, even though he fell out of favour of a lot of Liverpool fans for his move to Man United. I'm going to go Michael Owen in his pomp. When he burst on the scene, he was just unbelievable. 18 years old.
People can't remember that when he burst on the scene, how good he was. How good this guy actually was.
Ridiculous. at his age, 18 years old. I think he got overplayed, which probably hampered his career a little bit. But he was unbelievable, man. Did he not win? Did he win a Ballon d'Or or got nominated for one?
Yeah, he was the only English player recently to win a Ballon d'Or, I believe. Beckham won the European Footballer of the Year, I think it was.
Yeah,
but Owen actually won the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, at his age, at his young age. I don't think he was. I thought, he was overused, and injury obviously sadly hampered his career, a knee injury as well. So it was, But he was a brilliant player back in the day, back when he first burst on the scene. I remember his game against Newcastle. He just bagged a hat trick in no time. I mean, taking on that Argentina team, which was a good Argentina, world-class Argentina team. Batistuta and Veron, and in the defense you had obviously like Walter Samuel and Roas and people like that of that ilk. Obviously Zanetti as well, who's a legend. Yeah. So to take on that team and just run past that midfield like that and bury it and just chip it into the corner, it was. Yeah. If he was at Barcelona or Real Madrid at that time, I think he would have developed. It's just that Liverpool were desperate for him to win trophies and to win the league, and I think
and that's what's been unfortunate over the years for Liverpool is that we've had some fantastic players, but we've not always had a complete squad. I think Man United are in a similar sort of position right now. You've got players like Fernandes, really good quality, but
they're burning out Rashford as well. I feel they're doing the same thing. They're burning out Rashford as well. They're doing the same thing with Rashford, I think.
Yeah. But do you think Rashford gets into the next England team with the likes of all these other forward players?
I think Rashford is an impact player. I've said it for a long time. I think he's an impact player. I don't think he's a first team starter. I think he's a player you could bring on 45, 20 minutes to go, just to add a bit of pace. Yeah, I don't think
he's another one of those players that do well for England, though, isn't he? He always he
does all right for England.
So Southgate will probably end up going with him. Yeah,
but so did Welbeck in some aspects, didn't he? And Crouch.
Crouch,
Yeah, so I think England have got a very, very, very good front line. Midfield is a bit iffy, defence is a bit iffy, but they got a very, very good world class front line. Obviously, Saka coming through as well. Yeah, you've got Sancho as well. You've got players like that who are really, really good.
Sancho,
Sterling, Sancho, Kane up front as well. They've got a very good front line. They're missing the midfield a little bit and defence. I think they've got the wing backs. Obviously, they've got an array of wing backs. So they've got to stop playing Trippier and players like that and start playing the real players.
That's where I think England's let down a little bit is our defending. We haven't really got the defenders, have we?
No, not anymore. Not anymore. I think they have, if they give them a chance. I think I rate Tuanzebe, but we've badly used him. We've really badly used him, and just playing once gets man in the match against PSG, marks Neymar and Mbappe at the game, then gets dropped for 3 months. So
it's weird that managers do things like that. Even with us, with Minamino, he had a good game, and then he got dropped, and then we didn't really see him again, apart from a couple of minutes here and there, and then. We loan him out to Southampton and he's doing well there. So I don't know. I don't understand the thinking of managers sometimes.
No, especially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's a very, very weird in favouritism that goes on there. But anyway, come to the end of the show. Thank you, Redzz, Shak Warner, for coming on. It's been a pleasure. If you could just give a shout out to your where we can find you on social media, etc., and what you have coming up. In the next few months, you've got a new album coming out, I believe, and hopefully you're gonna kill it.
Yeah, man. So you can follow me at Shak Warner. Most of my music on YouTube is still under my my name, Redzz, Redzz. Starting to go by my normal name, Shak Warner now. So Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, it's all Shak Warner now. So go ahead and follow me. So. Sal, Stretford Post, keep doing your thing, man. Let people talk. You know what I mean? We can see you doing big things in the scene. So keep doing you, man. You know what I mean?
Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro. Cheers, brother. See you soon. Thanks, man.
Safe, man. Take care.
Safe.